See, there it is. The closer I get to looking at that screen, kind of funny. Hope I'm not scaring you out there. So last time I did this video, I had my paint already mixed and I showed you my little secret sponge under my palette. Well, guess what? When you don't put the cover on correctly, then you get this. Did I drop it in my new paint? Yes, I did. If you don't cover it correctly, you get this. You get hard, stiff plastic paint. So you get to see me mix it again. I'm going to show you about the ratio of paint to gel that I use. And I mix it with a palette knife. Make sure it's clean, unless it's the same color. And then even if I'm mixing two colors together, I will put the two colors on top of the gel and then start mixing. And you notice how I push the paint in. I know this is probably rudimentary things, but I don't know who's watching. Could be one of my little students. Okay, and so then that paint mixed with the gel. Let's see, I was working with the yellows here. So the next color here was going to be an orange. Should we just take the orange? And we pop a little pile on like that, going like that, pop a little pile of paint on, and then we mix them up. Another important thing is to spray the paint with the spray bottle before you cover it, and then make sure you don't do what I do. And when you put the cover on and it's got these little spikes in there, these pegs are gonna keep the top from touching the paint. And you put your cover on and you make sure it's sealed all the way around. That's what I failed to do last time. Make sure it was sealed all the way around. Make sure you hear that little click. You hear that? There you go. Hear that? Hear that? That little click tells you that it's sealed. I'll do it over here, let's see. Yes. Okay, those little clicks tell you that the palette is sealed this time. There you go. Okay. So now I know when I come back, my paint will be wet, and this time it won't be like this. This is what you get when it dries. Like I said, all of this acrylic paint is plastics, so I'm very ambivalent about plastic. Also, you don't cover it and you spray it with water, it can get moldy too, depending on where you store your paint. It's kind of gross, but interesting to show you how the paint actually dries. It definitely has a different consistency than regular acrylics. While it has more polymer in it and it's more flexible, it feels, there's some rigidity to it, and I guess that's what holds the texture when you put it on. You can also see, if I bring it close, how that coating can go from very stiff, so it's like stiff and rigid, so it holds its texture, but it can also be translucent, which is something completely different than I've ever seen before. So back to this palette. Last time I made sure that it snapped shut, so everything in here should be completely wet. Hopefully there's no mold. And sure enough, there is my paint. And I was showing you how I was mixing it with a palette knife. Very easy. I'll go back to doing that. Even though I messed up, you just basically work the paint into the product like that, and there you go. So I'm going to finish mixing up the rest of the palette, and I promised this video more painting, less talking. I said that last video. More painting, less New York talking. So I'll see you when we're ready to paint. Okay, so the first thing I do when I come back to a painting is do an evaluation of where I am, and the best way to do that, I'm going to stand back and look at the painting. And now, first thing I'm noticing is that I still have a bit of a composition issue based on these turquoise lines. So while last video I was concentrating on the yellow, using the yellow with the glaze, and it did cause some interesting effects to the painting underneath. It doesn't entirely look finished. You can still see pencil marks, but you can also see when I painted the sun the first time, I wanted to make sure I maintain this, and then as I was going through my composition, I decided to paint over it for some reason. But I'm gonna put that back. I'm gonna do a lot of things to this painting. Okay, and then I see that I started something here. I don't don't know if it was successful. I think that's where I petered out last video. So I'm noticing that last time I was working light to dark, and now, like I mentioned in the end of last video, this one I think I'm going to be working dark to light instead. So since we're starting on a white canvas, and I like this turquoise, somehow I'm going to figure out how to get this turquoise past and up here. So that's where we're going, just so you know what the plan is. So being the anal retentive photographer that I am, I got new lighting, I put up a new camera, and as I'm looking at it, I'm trying to make sure that you don't see those extra lights in my glasses. That's okay, because you're not here to see my glasses. I can't see anything without my glasses. I'm like Velma, I can't see anything without my Shaggy, Scooby. Where are my glasses? Yeah, so, I can't see anything without my glasses. I also can't paint without headphones, so I'm gonna have them on while I'm painting, and I'll just do a random shout out every once in a while. And I'm like, oh, it's better. I'm not getting the light in my glasses now. Oh, how nice. Okay, I think we're ready to go. We talked about the composition. I'm going to keep the idea of the rule of thirds in my mind as well. At the bare minimum, the rule of thirds is the best composition to judge your work by. If you can get a successful composition within the rule of thirds, you're doing pretty good. Then we have more complex compositions. At the bare minimum, you should hit the rule of thirds. Also, be warned, I don't have my hearing aids in. So if I shout out very loudly, please excuse me. I also can't seem to tighten my easel correctly, and it keeps sliding. Arthritis, I don't have the best hand strength. No, it's gonna... Oh God, I can't sing. I'm gonna get a copyright strike for singing as I'm ripping my paper towels. We don't want that to happen. Paper towels always in this hand, especially in case we have a little accident like we have right here. Before we go, that's why we keep the water very close. This stuff dries really super fast, guys. So every time you make a significant change in your painting, the best thing you can do for yourself is to step back and look before you keep going. Alright, that seems to work. We're going to keep going with it. Now I picked a slim brush because I wanted to keep my line relatively small. But then here's another important thing to learn about painting, and I'm trying to tell my young students this as well. Brush, how you handle the brush is very important. Brush pressure. Brush pressure. There we go. That's how you say it right. The pressure that you put on the brush is critical. It's critical to the texture there, you can see. If you press even with a skinny brush, and try not to block your view of it. If we have a skinny brush, we can either press lightly and keep the line thin and translucent, or we can press a little bit harder and then the line, you could start building texture in the line. Another way to add texture to a painting is also to paint with a palette knife, particularly if you're just adding texture to a particular color like that with this product, I would say to use a palette knife if you're interested in maintaining texture like I am. Once you get your basic painting down, it might not be a bad idea to pick up a palette knife, because when you put this product on the painting thicker, it becomes opaque, and when you put it on the painting lighter, it becomes translucent, which is like here. If I thin the paint down here, now it's going to take on a different look. Oh, here's another thing. If you're an artist with shaky hands like me due to neuropathy, water and a paper towel are always your best friend. Can't make them straight curves like I used to. But again, nothing is a mistake. Anything that's a mistake can be fixed. Well, anything, or you can turn a mistake into something really great. I'm not trying to get corny now. This is just a feeling painting. I can't even say it's the subject, it's just a feeling. I'm gonna, instead of telling you, I'm just gonna do it. Starting off skinny. Again, we're talking about how hard we press on the brush affects when you're doing lines. Use the brush to help you. Now I'm using a round because I wanted to start small and then move into making my area bigger. Did change brushes. The reason for the brush change is because I kind of got the width that I want, but I don't want this paint to be opaque in this spot. So you see how when I go over it, and I'm actually going to wash the brush, I'm going to dry the brush, but I'm going to try not to add any water to this product, because the jar does say to not use it with too much water, or don't add water to it. Another interesting thing you can do, and I always say this with composition, is to create motifs when you're challenged, particularly with abstract. Using a motif to help your composition. Now the motif that I'm creating right here, I'm making the same kind of circular pattern there like the sun, but I'm going to want to keep the texture in this as well. Now you see right here, you see the difference in it, in the product, even in the color, depending on how hard you press on the brush. So if I want to get a dark turquoise line there, I'm going to get my thin brush again. I'm going to go back to the straight brush down here. I'm going to get a big brush. And I have this problem right in here. It's kind of ruining the look. So I'm going to dry brush it for this area. This gel is really interesting if you dry brush. Has a different effect than a regular dry brush effect. Now I'm seeing a problem right here to this motif. So I'm going to take this turquoise out. Now one thing you notice here, especially when I'm painting abstractly, I'm not worried about making a mess, because especially with abstract painting, you really do get happy accidents sometimes. Not to belabor the point. This white spot right here really is an issue. It's gotta go. I can't even create a circular motif here because of this white right here. And I don't know if I did that last time or if I did that originally. That's part of the problem. Maybe I should keep the original painting close by so I can reference to it. But then I don't know if I'll be as bold in changing it. I might get too attached to saving certain parts of it that I shouldn't save. Who knows? And I just figured out a way to fix it. So we're going to leave the turquoise for now. We're going to leave this area. I'm going to go back up here to finish my composition with the turquoise. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes you walk away from it and then you reevaluate what you've done, and then you can look and see how to fix it, maybe what you could add to change it. I always tell the kids too, same thing, step back. Look at what you've done. Do you think it's successful? Do you see areas that you can do improvement? And I really do have poor vision, so I'm wearing close-up glasses. I'm telling you that because if I occasionally look cross-eyed, I'm not in real life. Just want you to know. Not that it matters, right? If I was, it still wouldn't matter. So now this drip of water is going to be unfortunate. Unless we pile it on the paint. You can pile it on with the brush too. It's not above me to keep going and keep changing things. And I think that's important, especially when you're working abstractly. You shouldn't be afraid to change things that aren't working. Admit to yourself what is, what works, what doesn't. And some people think this is easy. I don't find abstract that much easier than photorealistic painting. I think you need to know both. To be a well-rounded artist, you should know both. Oh my God, I want to sing so bad right now. I'm listening to Foreigner. I'm listening to one of my favorite songs, Urgent, from the 80s. Man, I love this song back when it first came out. Go Foreigner. So urgent. Yeah, and you notice something else? I'm like leaning and studying myself. The crispness of some of these lines in certain areas, because I had an airbrush underneath. I'm still trying to keep some of that. Just gonna get rid of that purple swiggle I couldn't get rid of before. For now, bugging me. Sometimes the best blender you can use is just a semi-wet brush. And you notice here again I use the brush to help give me that line. This stuff also dries way, for some reason makes the colors dry way darker than they look when they're mixed. Like you can see I showed you my new palette, and the colors when they dried were much darker, so it was kind of hard to remix them because they look too dark. But I knew that I didn't mix them that way before, but again, I think when you add extra polymer to the acrylic, it starts to do weird things. Trying to balance out these darker colors on the top. That yellow is still peeking through really strong there. I decided to focus on the yellow last painting. This one, last session. This one, I'm going to focus more on the darker tones. Try to balance that with the yellow. That's in now this is down here is where the translucency really comes in handy. Changing blues. You know what's terrible when you're in the middle of a stroke? When you're in the middle of doing a paint stroke and you're listening to music and Debbie Gibson comes on. Yeah, that can really break your concentration. I think I made my playlist too expansive. I said 80s. I didn't mean the entire 1980s. Not every genre of 1980s, but... Alright, I finished rifling through brushes. I'm going to do something really bold and daring that might screw up my entire painting. Or it could be a big success. Who knows? Oh, I'm creating a motif and I didn't even realize it. See that? Is that a motif or is that a repeating pattern? Like in Cubism. Would help if I could keep my line straight tonight. I'm thinking I might have to mix the color. You can see how quickly it lifts too. It's kind of weird. What a weird product. It's a weird gel medium. Gloss gel medium. I learn something new every day. This is the thing I love about abstract. You can just get an idea in your head and just go with it. I'm trying to get rid of this weird gallbladder shape I have going on down here. We still have the glass beads. That's still in, the glass beads are still an option, and plan to use them.
This is Marianne's Olympus camera speaking. I am old and my batteries are very, very weak. Yet Marianne still insists on using me to film her videos when she has better cameras. The video is blank because I went dead from overwork. That is completely her fault, not mine. In fact, I quit from recording all future painting sessions. Carry on.
So I'm noticing that I haven't even touched the side of the painting yet. This is still the original airbrush right here. This is still the original orange airbrush over the original painting. This is still from the original. The triangle is gone. The rectangle is still there. We're gonna get rid of it. It's gonna go. Still got pencil marks over there, but we're still working on our composition. This is a tough project, but I'm determined to make this painting work after all these years. This is a really tough project, staring at it. Plus I got a bad grade on it, so I want to redeem myself.